My mental health journey probably goes back to 2017 when it really hit rock bottom, and there was a number of contributing factors. The job was definitely one of them, and just the build up of what I was seeing and what I was being exposed to, and not dealing with that very well. I used alcohol as quite a numbing agent to assist with that, and I remember it quite vividly. Like, it was one evening, wicked lightning storm blowing over home, and for whatever reason, that was me done. I was in tears and couldn't verbalise what was going on, but like, I was just at rock bottom, and fortunate enough to have a very supportive wife who hadn't been experiencing the mental health herself, but she's like, we're going to get it sorted, whatever it is, I'll take you to the doctor, and we'll start a process. And I'd been to doctor before, and I'd been to psychologists and talked to them before, but nothing really prepared me, I guess, for hitting, at that time, was my rock bottom. And had some really good mates that I said, can we just hang out? And we'd sit side by side. I found that was way better than sitting face to face and having those initial chats, and just talk, and just opening up about kind of the things that I'd seen. And there's a couple of jobs that really stick out, that really are quite triggering, in terms of the patient was someone that looked similar to someone I knew, and that was a trigger. It looked similar to my boss's kid, and I had a whole bunch of other things going on. Very vividly, I remember the tree at the end of the corner that I was going to line up, and that was going to be put to the floor, give it a crack. And for whatever reason, I haven't. Didn't, which was, that's amazing too. But when you're in the trenches, when I was deep in there, I couldn't see a way out, and I didn't know how far I was gone until I started to crawl out. And so, got some help, got on some medication, which has been really good at levelling my emotions and my thoughts, and I've tried to come off it a few times, because it in itself is quite numbing. So I don't experience the high highs, but I don't experience the low lows. And so I'll often, I've had the question, what do you get excited about? And I find I don't get excited about, or, we've got a family holiday booked up, and the kids are absolutely peaking for it. They can't wait. And I'm just like, it's cool, but I'm not wrapped around excitement, whereas in the past I might have been. Because of I feel because of the medication, I keep quite level, but I don't get the high, but I also don't get the lows. And so I'll take that as a win, because I don't want the lows. And so at that time, when I was really, really bad, I knew I had to make a change, and one of those changes was to get off the trucks. Fortunate enough that I could take a role at the training centre. I've got a teaching background, so that definitely helped. And I went back up, and I was doing really well again. Because I wasn't exposed to that trauma, for me, it was just good to be a bit fresher. And then sharing my story at that time to the courses was somewhat healing, I think, to be able to share some of what's going on. But then in 2021, I started going backwards and not realizing. In hindsight, I could see, I was definitely going backwards in my mental health. And I've heard it said before, guys on station said it, but it's not about the dishwasher. For me, it's not about packing the car. It does not matter how you pack the car to go away on holiday, but that was a big trigger for me. and that was, just a big crumbling moment. And through that time, through early stages of 2021, we had a baby on the way. I lost 3 grandparents in the space of 8 weeks, and I was using alcohol as a massive coping mechanism. And my personality is that I'm all or nothing, and so if I'm all in, I'm all in. So I'll work hard, and I was smashing out some big hours, some big days. But as soon as that was done, I'm all in. To the alcohol and to the partying, and going out, and that led to some poor decision making, which put me in a vulnerable position. And through a series of events and some accusations that were made against my behaviour, I went down a big deep spiral again, and that was a tough one, because I'd made some poor decisions in going out and drinking and drinking with some people, and put myself in a position for the accusations to be made, and I was completely cleared of all that, which in itself is great, and I had some really good mates and people with me that backed me up throughout the whole process. But it was like a big wake up call for me and my mental health, and for where I was and who I was as a husband, first and foremost, and who I was as a father. I had two boys that were they're probably 5 and 3, and then a brand new baby, and set in motion again, going and speaking to someone professionally, but it was speaking to a few boys at the time that really helped. Some of my really close mates, their support for me through a pretty rough time is kind of what held it together for me. But going back to all or nothing, I was like, right, I need to get rid of these bad habits. So knocked alcohol on the head, knocked all social media on the head, because for me that was not making it better. The comparisons are a thief of joy, through social media. I was all on that. Using the alcohol, I just couldn't. If I had one, it wasn't going to be one, because I'm just all in boots and all. So I went through that second. I kind of see it as 2 sort of big lows through my mental health. Coming through that process led me to leave the job, because I knew I couldn't go back to the environment where I was at the training centre because of how everything had gone down. But I knew if I went back to the trucks that I would go back down another path, and I didn't want to be that person. It was tough. It was a pretty grueling 6 months of trying to be sober. If you have any habits, it takes a good chunk to break them, especially when they make you feel good. The mates that I had at the time, and the people that I could, my wife was phenomenal through it. Some really good mates through the job and also outside the job. Just really helped pull me back up from there, and to the position where I am now, where it's still got my mental health challenges, but it's a process, like you're saying. I don't have it all together, and I don't know if I ever will have it all together, but at least being able to share it, hopefully it just triggers some other thoughts and chats for people. I think.